So, have you ever noticed that little children are constantly asking why? Yes. It seems to be right up there with no as a toddler's favorite word. Why is broccoli good for you? Why can't I have more candy? Why does it get dark at nighttime? Why do I have to put a coat on? And I don't know about you, but sometimes when our children were asking why, it felt like they would just keep drilling down on a question until I finally had to admit, I don't know. Why do things fall down? Because gravity causes things to drop. Why? Well, if things didn't drop to the ground, everything would float away. Why? Because nothing would be heavy. Why? I don't know, ask your father. Or Brian Wright. And most of the time, I don't know ended the conversation. How interesting is it that saying, I don't know, satisfied them? Maybe they felt some comfort in knowing that nobody, not even mom or dad, has all of the answers. Pretty wise for a toddler to know that we aren't expected to have all of the answers. And that's something that grown-ups are extremely uncomfortable with. Research suggests that the incessant asking of why peaks between the ages of 3 and 5, and then tends to fade away around age 6 or 7. But this doesn't mean that children lose their curiosity at that age. Slowing down on asking why is thought to have something to do with a child's ability to ask more focused questions due to better language acquisition. And the fact that the school setting naturally addresses questions more systematically through their curriculum. But doesn't it seem as though there is an age when we stop asking why? At some point, we shift from asking questions to knowing answers. And for some, that shift is to knowing all the answers to everything. Seriously, though, as we grow up, our conversations go from beginning with, I wonder why, to, I know why. At some point in adulthood, questioning turns into certainty. Or maybe questioning turns into apathy. And I don't care replaces questioning. It really does feel as though there is a societal expectation that by a certain age we are supposed to have more answers than we do questions, especially when it comes to what we believe about faith. Jesus told us to come to him as little children, full of questions, curiosity, kindness, generosity. Jesus wants us to come to him ready to receive. He wants us to explore questions of faith all the time so that we can move closer to love the Lord your God and love your neighbor. Yet, ironically, by the time we reach adulthood, we often have all of our questions about faith tied up into a nice little box. Because you know what? It would simply be too messy to try to open that box, take some things out, and rearrange it. Our parents told us what to believe, and that was often reinforced in church. So why would we need to re-examine the contents of our faith box when such trusted individuals filled it up for us? All of this is to serve as an introduction to Kurt's message for us today. I applaud Kurt for opening today's service up to questions. You see, by societal standards, Kurt is the expert, and experts are supposed to have all of the answers. But if our why questions, if we drill down far enough, his response just might be, I don't know. It's one of the things I respect about Kurt. He doesn't have to know everything, and he's fine with that. He is like a child in that he is completely comfortable with not knowing everything. One of the comments I often heard as a high school teacher, and then when I became an administrator and I was doing evaluations, it impressed me immensely when a student would ask a difficult question or an unanticipated question, and the teacher would say, I don't know, but let's find out together. Keep asking questions. And take responsibility for finding out the answers to questions that you may have about Jesus and God, and questions about why you believe what you believe. It is certainly wise to listen to those who are representatives of God, but don't always rely on others to tell you their truth about the most important relationship in your life, the relationship between you and God. Keep asking questions and keep seeking answers. Welcome to worship. We are so glad you're here.